Welcome to the heat. Welcome to the heat. Wait, wow, no, they
เออ ลอง ลองเด้อ ลองลำเด้อ
พี่ใหญ่พี่น้อยพี่ดำพี่แหลกไปว่าวโน้ตเล็กซื่อพี่แตะ
Yes. Yeah. I hear you flipping through your note,
yes
your he search ready.
he cert damn demand lie be the 2018
Oh, what? You dug up your he search from like while you were actually doing he search.
yeah I did actually. You know what, according to this it says 2019. Oh, that's a long time ago now, girl. Like,
It's 2024. Anything in the teens, like that was a long time ago.
girl, if I'm really being honest, I did this in 2019. Even though I was 39, I did it a month before my 40th birthday. So, so I was pretty close to 40.
Wow. And coincidentally, I'm close to 40.
Yeah. So, maybe this is a nice little topic here.
What is the topic?
Okay. So the topic, it touches on the he, reproduction, fertility. People like you and I who in midlife or getting there, I'm already there, but the middle of our lives, haven't really like settled down and had kids. Around my mid 30s, I was thinking to myself, I just want to move on too much. I just know this about myself. I'm free. I'm living in New York City. I don't have any kids, but I want kids. And I know I want kids. I don't know if my body will agree with this, because they always say, like, oh, after 5, it's hard to have kids and so forth. So I was like, I always wanted to freeze my eggs. It was just always in my head. But the options, I just wasn't really familiar with. So, it was always in my head. I was always like Googling about egg freezing. And then like one day it came up online, an egg freezing only clinic in New York City. Egg freezing only. So it's like a la carte. Because most of the time, if you do something like egg freezing, you have to go to a regular reproductive fertility clinic. Whereas here, they cater.
What are the other things?
You can get your embryos frozen. You can get fertility treatment, everything reproductive.
Oh,
Oh, it wasn't like really intended. When you go to these clinics, they're not intended to like egg freezing only.
right.
Usually people go there, they're couples, they're looking to have kids, or maybe they want to freeze their embryos, or they're having issues having children, and the fertility clinic will help them with that.
Hmm.
I'm not trying to have one at that time. I just want to know what my options are in case I want to have one later and my body isn't agreeing with me. So that's when I found it's an egg freezing only clinic. They charge one flat fee to do one retrieval, and that's it. You freeze your eggs.
So, like, what is the process of freezing your eggs?
People don't realize that it's the quality of your eggs that depreciate. You still have eggs and you're still menstruating and you're still producing eggs, but the quality of them goes down after a certain age. I do have a friend who like had her embryos frozen. She gave me somewhat of a comparison. The consultation was free. So I was like, oh, I have nothing to lose. I went to an educational seminar that they had, and they gave us very basic information on the process, on the cost. They gave us a little binder. It was like going to a little session, and
Like going to a timeshare presentation.
yeah, it really felt that way because all the women in there, and it was amazing. There were like different ethnicities of women, and they're all like career oriented, and they're all thinking about the same thing. Like, I'm not having a kid right now, but I would like to later down the line, and I just want to know what my options are. I mean, certainly freezing your eggs is still not a guarantee, but it is just like an insurance, a feeling of like you tried something, and if you need to tap into your eggs, then you can. They gave me all the pamphlet information, cost, and they have it broken down like if you do one session, it costs this much, and this is the flat fee, and then medication costs approximately between this much and this much. And most of it is actually the medication costs more than the procedure itself. I haven't taken the medication before, and the medication is all fertility medication to grow your follicles until they mature. And then you get like a trigger release medication, and then they retrieve it the next day. Most insurance, like they don't really cover it if you just want to freeze your eggs. So I had to pay out of pocket for it. So that medication is very expensive. It's not covered by insurance. That's why you'll hear like people talk about they have fertility treatments and it's expensive, like $20,000 and so forth. A lot of that is medication.
You are the first person that I really got to, like, intimately know about this procedure from. I remember telling my mom about it when you were going through it, and my mom was like, "What? What do you mean freezing her eggs?" When I explained it to her, she was like, "You should do that." She was like, "You need to go find out how much it costs. You should do that." And upon finding out the cost, right, like, you just spit out some numbers. You said, what, like 10,000?
Yeah, it cost me approximately 12,000 in total. It was 5,500 for the procedure, nearly 6,000 just for the medication alone.
And do you have to pay for them to hold your eggs or anything?
Yes, and then you pay an additional storage fee. So that's how I got up to 12,000. So I pay about 500 a year in storage fees. It's 600 now.
When it
600.
comes time to actually use the egg and
Yeah,
retrieve the egg, that's also.
additional like another cost. This specific place has a program where if you come back and you are the same customer that used their egg freezing fertility, they also have an a la carte for now fertilization and implantation. So I like it. You're not doing the entire fertility process all at once. You're kind of just saying, "Hey, can you get my eggs for me?" And now I want to fertilize and have my embryos produce embryos, and then whatever after that process.
Word. Okay. So I'm going to say, like, the cost overwhelmingly, most women that I've talked to who like even have researched about it, they are like, do it, just in case, right? Those are the things that people say. You never know. And like for me, it's hard to reconcile. Like talking like 20,000, really, right?
Well,
That's just like today's price. So like, how did you make this decision about the cost,
well,
the benefits, right? Like there's no guarantee. Tell me.
everything that you're saying is everything that I thought about for years. Is it really worth it? It doesn't guarantee that your eggs will be viable when you use them. When you freeze your embryos, they fertilize the egg and then they freeze the embryo. So they will actually know if it's male, female, and you can give it genetic testing and you can freeze embryos and they have a higher success rate. Egg freezing, on the other hand, there's really less data on it and the success rate is much lower. So even though you are insuring your eggs, giving yourself a chance, it doesn't mean that it will produce actual embryos. I thought about it for so many years, and when I finally found a place that would do it, I could not afford it. My credit wasn't quite there. I didn't qualify for the financing, so I didn't do it. So I actually went in for 2 consultations, 2 different times. When I was 37, that was the first. And then when I went in again at 39, nearly 40, that's when I was much more set to have it done. My income had increased, my credit increased. That was when I was ready, and I knew that I couldn't wait any longer than that.
And you're doing this like as a single person, right?
Yes.
Like,
No partner, no, not even thinking like, "Okay, who am I going to produce this child with?" It's a really heavy decision. Then I had to say to myself, "I've done way worse things with $12,000." An investment in myself just so I could feel the relief. To say that I did everything in my power if I can't have kids after 30, after 40. And that's all that mattered. Like, it mattered that I tried. And after I got the procedure done, honestly, that relief, that years of thinking that was weighing heavy on my mind, it was gone because I felt like I had done everything I could for myself. in terms of ensuring I could still have kids.
And, like, how invasive is this process? Like, are they all up in your he? Like,
They're up in your heat. They go. The first thing that happens is you'll pick up your medications. After they determine your fertility levels, they actually told me something odd. So when I went in for my second consultation, it was a year and a half later, and they said that my AMH levels had gone up, which typically doesn't do that. It goes down with age. So I don't know what happened. I don't know if Buddha did something, like, I'm not sure. But when I went back, they said when you initially came, your fertility was low, and now it's actually high for your age. It's higher than average for your age. Maybe my success rate will be higher. So you take the medications, they give it to you, they give you instructions. A lot of it requires needles. So I had like Folliston, Menopur, and I had to take it according to their instructions. I can't remember how long I had to take it for, if it was like a week or two, but it's a process. After you take the medication, you go back to them. They schedule a day and they'll say, okay, come in on Friday or whatever, and we're going to check your follicles. So the medication, it makes all your follicles grow. So your eggs will grow, they will develop, and they will determine and count how many eggs you have in each ovary. And then when they're fully mature enough, after a certain amount of days, then they give you a trigger release drug. And after you take that trigger release drug, like the next day you come in, and it is a procedure where you are put under anesthesia. It's very fast. They go in and they retrieve your eggs. And it doesn't really hurt. It feels as much as like I had a period cramp, after the process. I actually just went somewhere like right afterward to go meet up a friend. So they were able to retrieve 16 eggs for me, and 10 of them were viable. So those 10 viable eggs were frozen for me. I heard from other women who had fertility treatments, that was a really good number for me. So I was pretty happy with it.
we hope you enjoyed listening to the He censored feminist musings from the minds of Noy Munduong and Sunisa Nuansi. We created the space to vaulin namkan, but also to look and listen critically to our mother cultures and traditions. We're starting by reclaiming the He. Kapchay Laylay, Pinong, and big ups to all our friends and fam for going on this healing journey with us.